What is up, you wonderful, beautiful people of the internet? This is Joe.
And Ulysses.
Balanzategui. We're here to give you a spoiler-filled review of Marvel's latest film,
Endgame.
Oh yeah. This is the culmination of 10 years of Marvel Cinematic history, all wrapped into a wonderful, exciting, emotional, heartbreaking bundle of pure joy. So let's get to the review, shall we?
This is full of spoilers, so please, if you haven't seen it yet, just go watch the movie. Go spend the $10. Go if you're broke, go sell some plasma. Go sell your car. Okay, don't
kidneys,
sell your car.
Sell your kidneys.
In all seriousness, go watch the movie.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Now, Ulysses, what? Okay, general consensus. What did you think of this film?
It was honestly amazing. It was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
I saw it the second time with my wife, who isn't even a huge Marvel fan, and she was crying. She was saying how awesome it was. So I mean, just for myself, this was just pure awesomeness.
I saw a friend of mine who actually hates Marvel movies, and he said for this one he was actually quote unquote moved. So there's that, you know.
And just to quote our DP, our favorite DP, Devin Ashcraft, who couldn't join us today.
Shout out to Devin.
And I quote, "I cried the entire movie because it was so glorious."
Let's get specific, Ulysses. Let's talk about some of maybe the most impactful scenes, some of our favorite scenes, and what made them so great to us.
Well, most impactful, I would have to say, is Thor's Ultra Dad Bod. Oh, it's funny. So our sister, and I'm sure many other women out there, were very disappointed. With,
applicable gents, I suppose. Yeah.
With Thor's... Thor put on some weight.
Yeah, our sister was really displeased when she went into the theater and she found that out. She was really looking forward to seeing some of that good Chris Hemsworth eye candy.
Although I was telling her, it's just more of him to love.
That is true. But honestly, for real though, I think there's something kind of inspiring about Thor in this movie. Because, I mean, I'll be real. His arc went completely just 180 to what I thought it was going to go. Like especially with the setup from Ragnarok and Infinity War to this movie. It went in a different direction. And I'll be real. At first, I was a little disappointed. But I watched it the second and third time yesterday. Yeah, I watched it twice in one day. The thing is, Thor is, to me, more of an inspiring character because of how low he gets and how he's willing to bring himself back up out of that pit he's in, even after he's fallen so hard, you know? Like someone who has failed terribly, like Thor, can still pull themselves up out of that and still be a hero, and I find that incredibly inspiring, actually.
Definitely, with Thor being, one of the most powerful Avengers, the fact that he was the one who got depressed, the fact that he was the one, who started just drinking and getting the ultra dad, not even a dad bod, just like ultra, just like fat.
You're just fat, yeah. Thick Thor.
Yeah. I think that was just very refreshing to see that, and then be able to see how even from there he started making strides forward. I
love the scene with his mom when he gets to talk to his mom, because we didn't really think about. Look, no one thought about Dark World very much up until this movie, but this movie somehow made Dark World a more memorable movie just from that scene alone.
Seriously, I honestly would love if they re-release Dark World, and then just in the background, two scenes, you just see a fat guy running around.
Yeah,
I think that would be pretty awesome.
That shot with Loki in the prison cell and them just running fast, that's priceless. You can't pay for something like that. That's great.
Seriously. I wasn't really planning on talking about this, but going back to Thor's depression and whatnot, not to necessarily make this a spiritual conversation or anything like that, but I just love how, despite the fact that Thor was, he thought so little of himself, when he goes and calls for his hammer, and it comes to him, and he realizes he's still worthy, and that, to me, that just struck a chord, because how often do we think, man, I did this mistake, in this case, he feels like he let down the whole universe, but he was still worthy.
I didn't think too hard about that. That's really great. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's talk about a character that I think some people liked, some people didn't. I wasn't the biggest fan of where they took him. We're talking about Hulk. What did you think about this? About Hulk in this movie?
Initially, it was kind of weird, especially with how they set up or how they left Hulk at in Infinity War.
It's set up that maybe he was gonna get his due.
Yeah.
That like he was gonna get Thanos back because Thanos beat him so soundly that he couldn't even come out again, and like. It just seems so jarring that all of a sudden Banner and the Hulk had reconciled in the last 5 years. It kind of makes sense with that amount of time passing, but I wasn't completely on board with it. I have to say, upon rewatch, I've warmed up to it a little more, but it just seems like they could have done more with his arc.
All in all, with this kind of film, I forgave it just because the rest of it was awesome.
It's a big film. There's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's only so much they could have put into it. He was pretty amusing. There were several scenes like with him taking the picture with the kids or him giving tacos to Ant-Man.
That scene with him giving tacos to Ant-Man, I have to say, is one of the purest things I have ever seen in my life.
He just looked like the Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah. And I noticed this, like Hulk has like this little satisfied smile on most of this movie. It's just so infectious. I love it. For what little was there, it was all right. The first scene.
Oh my goodness.
This movie does not mess around. Much like Infinity War, from scene 1, it tells you what it's going to be, like what you can expect. Of course, Hawkeye losing his family. I saw this coming. I was thinking, we were talking about this about like a year before this movie came out. I was like, they're totally going to open the next movie with Hawkeye losing his family. Mm-hmm. I know it. I can just see that right now. And that's why he comes out of retirement. And I love this guy. Like in this movie, he was Hawkeye. He was okay before, but like this movie made me really love Hawkeye. So let's move along. What did you think about Captain America in this movie?
Oh my gosh. I just love Captain America. He's just one of my favorite Avengers overall.
Mine too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. One of my favorite parts with Captain. How about when Cap grabs Thor's hand?
Holy crap, dude. That still gets a rise out of me when I see it. But I nothing beats the first time watching that. I don't know if you heard me, but like when the hammer was lifting up, I was like, no way. I have not fanboyed that hard. I don't even know the last time I fanboyed that hard. And then I fanboyed even harder with the Avengers Assemble scene just a little while later. They somehow did that to me twice within the same 10 minutes.
Like, oh my gosh. We like in the theaters, and I think it helped that we saw it within the first like 24 hours of being released. That probably everyone in the theaters was like a super fan. But oh my gosh, there were so many cheers when Cap grabs the hammer. I was like, yes! Oh, let's go crazy.
Love Thor's. I knew it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And then he just goes to town on Thanos, at least for a minute, goes to town on Thanos.
Yeah, he goes full Ultimate Alliance on Thanos, dude.
And, this part where he just like gets up, tightens his shield.
Oh, yeah.
And just walks, and you just see the armies coming toward him, and he just like,
you can put that on a poster.
Seriously.
I want that poster.
Like, honestly, that scene reminded me so much of the video that you did, Joe. Maybe we'll go ahead and put a link in the description.
I can do this all day. A lot of people thought that maybe he should have said I can do this all day when he did, when he gets back up and he's facing the armies. But, well, it kind of would have, it was already used as a joke earlier. So I feel like if you called that back, it would have been more as a joke. It wouldn't have been taken as seriously. And B, I love that scene. And I love the fact that he doesn't say I can do this all day, because he is exemplifying the fact that he indeed can do this all day. He is not showing you. He is not telling you he can do this all day. He is showing you Captain America darn well can do this all day, to the point that he is facing down an army alone. He will fight to the last breath to save the universe.
Mm-hmm. But thank goodness he didn't have to fight till last breath.
Oh,
Oh my gosh. When that portal opens up and you see Black Panther and
on your left.
yeah, and then you hear on your left, and oh my gosh, you see Black Panther just give him a little nod. And then that look that Cap gives him, like, oh my gosh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Like, I was about to go take down
That's
this
like
army.
that's like a finals are finally done face. That's a dude. You can put that on a GIF.
And then he sees Sam come through. And then you see all these other portals start opening up. I was like, oh my goodness.
Like dozens of portals. And then commences easily the greatest superhero battle scene I have ever seen in my entire life. Oh my gosh. Oh, everyone comes in. Well, minus the defenders, I'm sorry. But everyone comes in. Everyone. We got Bucky. Didn't you say you saw Ravagers?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw Ravagers a second time.
There's Valkyrie on a Pegasi.
See all the Asgardians, the Sorcerers.
Dude, seeing the Sorcerers was so awesome. The Sorcerers were kind of the MVPs of this battle, I think.
Yeah.
They were magicking all over the place. They got everyone there. They were forming shields when the fire was raining from the sky. Like, go Sorcerers, man.
Way to go, Wong.
Way to go, Wong.
He's
I
a
love that
real
line.
MVP.
Wong is the MVP. Can we get an MVP trophy for Wong? Because Wong, that guy doesn't get enough credit. I love his line to Doctor Strange when he's like, is that everyone? It's like, what, you wanted more? And I was thinking in the back of my head, yes, I wanted the Defenders, but that's another story.
Oh man, you see the Guardians come through, and Spider-Man, oh my gosh, both times I saw it, everyone was going crazy when Spider-Man just swings in.
Such a satisfying part. When Tony hugs Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh. My wife said she was about to cry during that part.
Let's talk about Iron Man.
Yeah. Well, with Iron Man and Spider-Man, what's interesting is that when Iron Man hugs Spider-Man, that's a huge payoff from one, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
And then two, when in the beginning it was him seeing a picture of Peter that made him want to go and do the whole time travel thing.
And of course, that heartbreaking scene at the end of Infinity War when just scared Peter is fading away in Tony's arms. That easily one of the most memorable parts in the whole MCU was that scene. And then this scene we're talking about right here, where everything's happening. People are coming in. Ant-Man squashes a giant with his freaking foot. Oh, so good.
There's that whole battle scene as you see Iron Woman, Pepper, just like come out, and then Iron Man and Pepper are fighting together, and
that was a good scene where they're just rotating around each other, shooting people.
You see the Wasp come back.
So good. So many good little things in this movie that they pay off. This is pay off the movie. This is the wedding day of the Marvel universe. This is this is so good. Iron Man.
Yeah, going back to Iron Man. You know what? His story in this story was it was just so good and so, again, going what we were saying earlier, so relatable. I mean, he has a daughter now, and his main concern is just to keep his family, what he has now, safe.
It's funny. This movie does such a good job of showing how everyone handles grief differently. The Hulk actually found some redemption in himself over the last 5 years. It was actually pretty good for him. Everyone else was sad, and Thor got depressed, as we said. Iron Man, he finally got to start a family. Ironically, when the world ended, Iron Man finally had some time to rest and some time to start a family and to have a daughter and to have a semblance of a normal life. And it was because they wanted to go back and save everyone and to actually restore order to the universe that, he knew he had to take part in that. But in order for that to happen, he had to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Just this whole MCU started with Iron Man.
The man who started it all, ended it all.
Basically, this era of the MCU, when Iron Man is able to get the stones, the Infinity Stones, from Thanos, and just looks at him, and Thanos is saying like, "I am." Well, what does he say?
I am inevitable.
I am inevitable. And Iron Man just looks at him and says, "I am Iron Man." Oh my gosh! And then snaps his finger.
Such chills.
Like huge payoff to again the first Iron Man movie when that was his last line, "I am Iron Man," and then this movie, and basically his last line in the MCU is also "I am Iron Man" right before he just obliterates the most powerful MCU villain.
That's powerful stuff. And there's a lot to unpack there with that single line, "I am Iron Man." They've been recontextualizing that throughout the series. Like, what does it mean for him to be Iron Man? At the beginning, it was just, he was smart enough to build a suit. That makes him Iron Man. Then by the time Iron Man 3 came around, he didn't really have a suit, so he had to be a hero anyway. That made him Iron Man. In this one, he is a hero. He sacrifices himself to save the entire multiverse. And that makes him Iron Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and staying with Iron Man, oh my goodness, when Pepper finally tells him that he can rest.
Oh man.
Which, I mean, there's so much to that. I know earlier in the movie, when he's talking about this whole time travel thing, he's saying, "Well, I can just go to bed." And she tells him, "Well, would you be able to rest?" And just at the end, how he's finally, completed his mission. He's you can tell he's struggling with letting go, with wanting, he doesn't want to die, because of his family, because of all these people that he wants to protect.
Yeah.
And Pepper just tells him, "We'll be okay. You can rest now."
That moment, I think, hit us all really hard.
Excuse us as we take a break to go cry.
Yeah, for real though. That part started welling up the tears, and then they all just came bursting out the moment I saw the callback to proof that Tony Stark has a heart.
Oh my gosh. That
whole funeral
scene.
When you get to see everyone that Steve's impacted over the years, including the Iron Man 3 kid.
You mean Tony?
Tony, sorry, Tony. When you get to see all the people that Tony has impacted over the years, including the kid from Iron Man 3, that was... I have no words, man.
Oh my gosh, I love you 3000. I can't, again. I can't.
Dude, but that proof that Tony Stark has a heart, that basically cements the theme of Tony's arc so perfectly, because little by little, with every movie that he's been in, this entire series has been about proving that this dude who started out as a real dirtbag, totally selfish, only caring about himself, making money off of weapons that kill a ton of innocents. This series has been about proving that indeed Tony Stark does have a heart.
Rest in peace, Tony.
R.I.P. Iron Man.
So when Captain America goes back in time, and then he's supposed to come back, and he doesn't. And Sam,
you knew it was going to happen right before it happened, but it still had an impact. That's the power of this movie. A lot of it you kind of expect it to happen, like at least right before it happens. You still can't escape the emotion of it if you're a fan of these movies.
Yeah, and then he's just right there. Well, I don't even know how old he would be. Probably technically like 150 or something. But anyway, where old man Captain America just has a conversation with Sam and passes on the torch of the title of Captain America.
Yes.
There's just that whole scene. That scene was just very satisfying, and especially when you notice that he has a wedding ring on.
Yeah.
Then it cuts back in time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! In this scene,
the last scene of the film,
Cap is dancing with someone, and we all know who it is. But you don't see her face for a sec, and then you see that he's dancing with Peggy,
and they kiss and fade to black.
Like, oh my gosh! Cap finally got his dance. He kept the date.
which we've been waiting for since like 2011.
Yeah, and again, I think that was, oh my god, such a huge payoff for the whole Captain America arc, but also earlier when Cap sees Peggy, and you can just see that longing look in his face.
Yeah. Like, even though I kind of expected it to go in this general direction, that last scene left me bawling like a baby because it was so beautiful. It was so earned. Cap freaking deserves that, dude.
Yeah, of all, I mean, maybe only Thor has had more happen to him, especially in the most recent movies. But I don't think anyone went through what Cap went through.
And Peggy liked Cap even when he was disabled. So, goals. Haley Atwell, I know you're listening. I love you.
All right, guys, there's just so much more we could talk about. We could probably talk about this for hours and hours. But if you haven't seen the movie and still watch this, go see it anyway. It's just so much better to watch it in person instead of seeing this.
Movies are an experiential thing.
Yeah, such an experience. I mean, everything from the time travel and the throwbacks to Back to the Future and the characters, the humors, everything was just... This movie was just absolutely such a fun, emotional ride.
It was everything I didn't know I needed.
So, Kevin Feige, all you people who worked on these MCU movies, thank you.
Thank you so much. You basically raised us.
But hey guys, don't forget to subscribe.
This channel is going to mainly be focused on posting short films and maybe little vlogs here and there, behind the scenes stuff. We'll be doing reviews and discussions like this about movies that we're really passionate about. We're not necessarily going to do it about every movie that comes out, because who has the time for that? If that's the kind of stuff you want to see, subscribe, like Ulysses said. Ring that bell icon. Leave a like, leave a comment. Hopefully it's nice. And yeah, we'll see you on the flip side.